Moana 2 is the brand new Disney film that just hit theaters right before Thanksgiving. This again is the sequel to the 2016 original film. This movie, the sequel Moana 2, was announced as a Disney Plus exclusive TV show back in 2020. In the middle of production after Bob Iger wanted more sequels from his animated movies. This movie got changed from a TV show to a movie. New directors, completely new set of directors for this film, and also Lin-Manuel Miranda has not added any new music to this movie. He is not involved in the project whatsoever after writing all of the music for the original film. This movie once again stars Ali Cravalho, hope I'm saying her name right as always, voicing Moana. And in this film, Moana receives an unexpected call from her wayfinding ancestors to help reunite all people, not just her island and save her island, but find more people beyond the reef and bring them together. Along this journey, she also once again runs into the demigod Maui, once again voiced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who is struggling with the fact that he is lonely and for some reason can't find a way to save the day by himself. The movie is an hour and 40 minutes and is PG. Welcome back to a brand new review here, Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinner. We're talking Moana 2. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and ring that bell for notifications on new movie and TV show reviews, a box office show every Tuesday, movie franchise rankings, and out-of-theater reactions, including one I did for Moana 2. If you like any one of those things, subscribe and ring that bell for notifications to be notified when my new videos drop. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on Moana 2? Do you like it more or less than the first film? Do you want to see a Moana TV show or just a Moana 3? Or should they probably just cut it off here? Did you wait to watch it with the family? What was your Thanksgiving experience watching Moana 2? We'd love to talk about it with you in the comments. And also, please hit that thumbs up button. Helps YouTube algorithm out so more people can get recommended to my videos. So I'm someone who's seen the first Moana 3 times. The first 2 times, I was very lukewarm on it, but I really almost loved the movie when I rewatched it last night in preparation to watch Moana 2. I'm a big Lin-Manuel Miranda fan. That music is really phenomenal in the first Moana film. And yes, it's fun. It has those Disney animation checks of the cliches that they have to have in all of their movies. But for me, it was a fun world, fun characters with amazing music that took me and got me to be a big fan of the first Moana. But after I heard that this was a series turning into a movie in the middle of production, Lin-Manuel Miranda not returning to do any music for this movie, I actually was very skeptical. And what I'll say is, this movie is not bad. It's not awful, which I was actually expecting it to be bad just because of those two components of the production and not having really the heart and soul of the first movie. This movie is quite watchable. This is an easy 100 minutes in the theater where kids are going to have a really fun time. And obviously, I think kids and adults will easily find themselves having a good time watching Moana 2. It's a very uplifting, positive movie with likable lead characters that go on a journey that you probably have seen a billion times, including in the first Moana film. But the animation, first of all, the biggest positive with Moana 2 is the animation. We have come such a long way with animation where I feel like I'm saying this for the majority of animated movies these days, but it is photorealistic. Sometimes I look at the water behind me. It is jaw-droppingly gorgeous in this movie, and even stronger animation than obviously the first one, which came out 8 years ago. You really can't take your eyes off the screen. If it's the colors, the creatures, the people, the culture, it's all on display in such a beautiful and authentic way, just like the original film. Also, you have two amazing lead characters with Moana and Maui. Moana is a lot more in the spotlight. Maui is not in the movie as much as I thought, and I'll get to that as a negative in a second. But again, Moana and Maui have great chemistry with Cravalho and The Rock. Great chemistry. You buy them as actual counterparts and friends throughout the entire film, just like you did in the first film. They add in a lot more side characters to go on this journey with Moana. It's not just Moana going on the journey, then she meets Maui. She brings along 3 other side characters who are new to the franchise to help her along the journey as well with her 2 other animal sidekicks. So it's finally not just her going on this journey. The singing is gorgeous, and Carvalho is a fantastic singer, and she continues to bring that element. Also, the world building for this franchise is just really strong, as not just are we learning about the demigods and how this curse ruined this one island, we expand the things to wanting to learn about other islands and other people. And I think this franchise, if they continue on, will only get bigger from here because the world building is really huge and ever growing. For this franchise. Overall, I had a big grin on my face. I was happy, enjoying myself watching the movie. But this movie is nowhere near the same ballpark as the original Moana for multiple reasons. The biggest one is, as I said, Lin-Manuel Miranda did not do any music for this sequel, and you can feel it. This is a complete downgrade in music, where for me, there wasn't one memorable new song in Moana 2. They do reuse one song from the original Moana, and that was the only thing that got me like chills from a music level. It's not that the music is awful, it's like passable. But after going from the highest of highs with Disney movies, in my opinion, with the music in the first Moana, to go from like all-time great Disney music to kind of like mediocre music is a huge downgrade. And I think for me, if this franchise wants to continue on either on the small screen or on the big screen, you need to get Miranda back for at least a couple of songs, because the music for me felt really flat in the movie, where I was expecting to kind of be into it. Miranda uses a lot of different techniques where he uses one song to set up another song, and then those songs combine. He uses a mixture of rap, and this film tries to copy some of the Miranda isms from his music in the first film, but for me, it just felt like a Pale Man comparison to the original music, and it makes this movie a lot worse, in my opinion, than the first film. My major issue with the story is just Maui's inclusion. He just feels at times just shoehorned in, and there also just isn't a lot of time with Maui and Moana together. And I think that's what made the first film great. Yes, was it, Moana having this huge responsibility from her family? It was, but the movie hit another level when it was a kind of buddy cop movie, when you had Moana and Maui. But the movie takes a long time for Moana and Maui to meet up in the movie. Like nearly an hour into the movie, they finally meet up, and then they have the big third act, and then that's it. I do think, again, if the franchise wants to continue on, there has to be a way to keep these two on screen for a larger pair. I could not believe how long they were keeping these two characters separate from each other in the first two acts of the movie. And when the movie works, when the two of them are on screen in action scenes working together. When the movie can sometimes feel a bit boring is when they're kind of cutting back and forth of those two on different journeys. As I said, the story feels very similar. We're going to go to these different islands. None of the side characters really popped, in my opinion, especially they kind of forced in her having now a new sister. I didn't think that added really anything to the story on an emotional level. So for me, this is kind of a passable sequel. It's not one that diminishes your love of the original film. I think if you love the original film, you'll have some fun with Moana 2. But if you're expecting a movie that reaches the heights on any level with the first Moana, I think you're going to be disappointed with Moana 2. So overall, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars, a 60%. What are your thoughts on Moana 2? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.